Hello and welcome to CTV News Across Canada for Friday, September 5th. We've got the top local stories from coast to coast. Stories that affect you and the country. Thanks for joining us.
Police in St. John say they were called to a residence on Carlton Street just before 11 o'clock last night. That is not too far away from the police headquarters here uptown. When they arrived at the residence, police say they discovered a 34-year-old man who was unconscious. Police say when they arrived, the 34-year-old man clearly had serious injuries.
Officers immediately rendered first aid to the victim. Additional emergency responders attended to assist, but unfortunately, the victim was pronounced deceased.
Police are not confirming the name of the victim. We also do not have police confirmation of the exact address on Carlton Street where this happened, nor if the victim lived there or if a weapon was used. Police say they received numerous 911 calls last night of some kind of disturbance happening in the residence. Nobody has been arrested, and there has been no description provided from police of any suspect or suspects are looking for. Still, police say they believe this is an isolated incident, and we asked them this afternoon why they believe that.
So at this point in the investigation, the information that we have received up until this point, we believe that the parties were known to each other, and that's why we initiated in our release that we believe that it is an isolated incident.
Police say they've interviewed several people in the neighborhood today and are also reviewing surveillance footage in the area, which may prove helpful with the investigation. Nick Moore, CTV News, St. John.
I think I'm going to venture that this is uncharted territory. This was an exceptionally unique situation.
Words from Barrie CAO Michael Prowse at an executive council meeting on August 13th as the city of Barrie continues to deal with a fenced-off encampment area just outside of the downtown core. The executive meeting lasting an hour and identifying the scope of the challenge ahead for the city, in particular the water quality with wellheads within the encampment. According to the city, staff initially asked the Simcoe-Muskoka District Health Unit to conduct water testing in Diamonds Creek, but the health unit declined the invite.
They declined and told us we could send them drone footage, I think, and videos, and they would be happy to examine it.
The health unit saying that the city should monitor their own drinking water and the creek doesn't fit their mandate. In a statement to CTV News, a spokesperson for the health unit said they have been working within their mandate and are in contact with the Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Parks. They have no evidence linking the encampment to E. coli contamination associated to swim advisories in Kempenfelt Bay, but the health unit would not elaborate on what that evidence was. That statement not good enough for Mayor Alex Nuttall, who said Diamonds Creek directly flows into Kempenfelt Bay, where the beach was closed for multiple days due to high E. coli. For reference, the health unit sends out swimming advisories if the E. coli level is more than 200 per 100 milliliters of water. According to the health unit, swimming advisories were posted at Centennial Beach on August 22nd and Minette's Point on August 26th for high E. coli levels. Both beaches were safe to swim in the next day. The City of Barrie's own water sample results show some samples in Diamonds Creek nearly 5 times greater than a beach posted for E. coli bacteria. The creek was sampled for E. coli on August 22nd in 4 different locations, moving west to east towards Kempenfelt Bay. The location on George Street showing 201 per 100 milliliters of water, Ann Street South 291, Innisville Street showing 921, and on Bradford Street showing an E. coli level of 727 per 100 milliliters.
When you have 100 people using a washroom into a creek that's going to our beach, and you have high E. coli at the beach, at what point do you go, let's go figure out what's happening? This is an issue.
Diamonds Creek sits on an unused wellhead by the city, a wellhead the city would have to use if the water treatment plant was not able to function.
Imagine for a second that thing went down, right? And we've got to switch back to a complete well system for the city. Like, are you folks comfortable? Because I'm not, like, just being honest. So I think that there's a wide range of things that need to be understood, investigated, and reported back on.
In a statement to CTV News, the mayor saying today, if necessary, the city will act alone, but prefers the cooperation and support of other agencies and partners to address risk, provide supports, and ensure the encampments do not threaten public health and safety. But at this time, it's not clear what specific steps the city will be taking to protect other water sources that are located near encampments. We reached out to the Premier's office today to ask the province what they will be doing to support other municipalities that are dealing with encampments, and we did not hear a response back today. Reporting live in Barrie, I'm Luke Smart.
I spoke with one of the owners of the 3 vehicles trapped under that concrete wall. She was on the phone with her insurance company at the time, but says fortunately, when that wall fell, she was at work. An SUV hangs from a parkade outside Credit Valley Hospital in Mississauga. 4 levels above the ground, front wheels over the edge, and the bumper dangling.
I'm scared to see this picture.
Below it, 3 cars have been flattened by a concrete wall. Fortunately, no one was inside them.
We were parking on the same level, just down from there, and it appeared it just happened when we parked. So when we got out of the car, we saw the elderly couple sitting there.
Gary Bedford says the couple looked a little rattled.
Must have hit the gas pedal by mistake instead of the brake and ran. And the only thing that stopped him was that cell tower. Otherwise, if he had hit the wall, he would have been come directly right out into the parking lot.
Peel police say a vehicle collided with a barrier. It broke free and landed on the parked vehicles beneath.
One of the technicians had said that a wall had fallen, like a barrier wall, a cement barrier wall had fallen and crushed cars. And our mouths just sort of dropped open.
Peel paramedics say 2 people suffered very minor injuries and were transported across the street. It happened shortly after 11 this morning. Crews first worked to stabilize the SUV before getting it secured to tow. Then they carefully maneuvered it through the parkade, rounding the curves, and ultimately pulled it out into a parking lot.
I never see nothing like this. I've been driving tow truck for a while now, and this is crazy, crazy, crazy.
Stephen Smith arrived hoping he would get to tow one of the cars crushed under the wall.
They said a team is coming out and they're gonna break the wall, break it apart, and then they would probably get the cars out sometime later tomorrow, but it's definitely going to take a long time.
A spokesperson for Trillium Health says there's no concern regarding the structural integrity of the parking garage and that only the area of the incident is under review and remains protected. Both the hospital and rest of the parkade are open. Those vehicles trapped under that concrete barrier remain there at this time. Crews have added fencing and barriers blocking both it on the ground as well as the hole on that 4th level. Allison Hurst, CTV News.
This red brick duplex in the Rosemont-la-Petite-Patrie borough was set to be torn down. Now it's spared, along with the family inside. Trini Lee grew up in this house, which his parents, now in their 70s, bought in 1983.
They just want to grow old here and just spend the rest of their days in our house. The family is here, everything is here.
But nearly 2 years ago, the STM announced its intention to expropriate their home. The agency planned to build a new ventilation station for the metro on this property. After months of protest and public pressure, the project is now on hold. The STM says it lacks the provincial funds needed to move forward. A spokesperson told CTV News that this postponement will also allow us to take a step back and learn from the concerns expressed by citizens. But the Transport Minister's office says the onus is on the STM. Across the street, Karen Templeton has watched the saga unfold. She believes the expropriation law used for this project can cause serious harm to homeowners like Lee's and communities as a whole.
It kind of streamlines the expropriation process, so it makes it very difficult to contest it.
While the project caused anguish for many, for some, it also strengthened neighborhood ties.
It's been a very community-building kind of exercise.
We've built this network too. It gives us more hope, I think, moving forward, even in regards to this project and how we might have more of a say.
The project may be on pause, but for the Lee family, there's still a risk and uncertainty.
My family and I, we suffered for 1.5 years now, so it's not fun for anyone. I don't think it's okay. I don't wish that to anyone.
Laurence Brisson-Dubreuil, CTV News.
Contact tenants now!
Residents of Rideau Rockcliffe in Ottawa's East End protesting renovictions in their neighborhood.
I looked for a 1-bedroom at least. It's about $1,500. I have 2 kids. I'm a single parent. What am I supposed to do?
Natasha Girard is worried that if an N13 notice for renovation eviction shows up at her door, she'll have no place to go.
It's very stressful. It gives me a lot of anxiety because who can afford something like what we pay anymore? We can't. And for me, paying this is already, with all the bills that I pay, it costs about $1,500. So that's already one of my paychecks.
A new report by the Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives shows rent prices in Ottawa continue to rise.
When the cost of your housing has gone up so much, it basically turns out you need to work almost 2 full-time minimum wage jobs just to afford a one-bedroom apartment.
The report finds the average asking rent for a vacant one-bedroom apartment in Ottawa this year is just over $2,000, and the monthly cost of a two-bedroom is nearly $2,500.
Spending more than 30% of your income on housing puts you in an unaffordable situation.
That would mean tenants in Ottawa would need to make an average hourly wage of $39 for a one-bedroom and $48 for a two-bedroom. Ontario's current minimum wage is $17.20 an hour. Gerard's neighbor already handed an N13 eviction notice.
I think it's impossible to find a new place because even on 2 wages, we were still having problems at $1,200. So $2,000 is, forget it. There's no way. We'd never be able to eat.
Vancouver and Toronto are the most expensive cities in Canada to rent a one-bedroom with an hourly wage of $46 an hour and $42 an hour needed, respectively.
What we really need is full rent control, and we need vacancy control, because that's what will happen in any renovation, here and anywhere else.
Scott not even bothering looking for a new place to rent.
The plan right now is that my parents are both in their 70s, so it's kind of a trade-off where they're going to help us now, and then whenever they get a little bit older, we're going to help them out when they need it.
Cheaper rental options can be found across the river in Gatineau, with a one-bedroom apartment there requiring just $29 an hour to comfortably afford that rent.
Mourners at Nashville Cemetery in Kleinberg took turns shoveling earth onto the casket containing the body of Abdul Aleem Faruqi.
He would not hurt a fly. Anytime anyone needs help in the community, he'd be the first one to be there.
The huge crowd here, full of friends and family, many who also attended the funeral service at the Beitul Mosque on Wednesday night.
Extremely emotional. Yeah, it's been a very emotional few days.
He died in the way of God. He died protecting his family.
Protecting his family during a violent home invasion on August 31st at 1 a.m. The father and small businessman was shot and killed inside his Kleinberg home with his 4 children present. The suspects still at large. Police taking pains to stress they believe this was a robbery. Faruqi targeted only for money. A robbery that shattered a family.
Turn yourselves in. You're cowards. And turn yourselves in. Justice will be served.
It wasn't the only home invasion that night. Officers releasing this footage of one that happened 90 minutes later, less than a kilometer away.
The officers are working diligently to bring those to justice.
This is the 3rd day of mourning, which is in line with the Ahmadiyya Muslim tradition. After this, friends and family will gather at the Faruqi family home. A GoFundMe started by Faruqi's family to raise money for his teenage son and 3 young daughters, now at some $25,000. His children at the cemetery, one talking with York Regional Police Chief Jim McSween, who also spoke with family members.
This shouldn't happen in Canada. We live in Canada. This is family of 4. This wasn't targeted. This was a great guy. This was random. It could have been any of us. And unfortunately, it happened to the best of the best.
And even as Faruqi is laid to rest, his loved ones say their fight for justice will continue. John Woodward, CTV News.
5 members of Patrick McGregor's family spoke in court today of how his death 4 years ago has impacted their lives. Their statements were part of the sentencing submission from the Crown. Earlier this year, a jury found 36-year-old Kyle Smith guilty of the September 2021 murder in Sudbury. During the 3-week trial back in February, Smith testified to killing McGregor, claiming the stabbing was in self-defense. McGregor had been stabbed in the neck while driving his car in the parking lot of the Esso gas station on LaSalle and Notre Dame. When he got out of the vehicle, it was used by Smith to run him down. The two were known to each other, and the dispute was connected to drugs. Smith admitted to being under the influence at the time. Statements were read by McGregor's siblings, his 2 children, and his mother, who says her life was shattered when she found out about her son's death, adding that the tragedy has had a crippling impact on her life. Defense submitted letters from 2 of Smith's daughters, his institutional and health records, as well as a volume of case laws for the judge to consider. Smith was also found guilty of dangerous driving, causing bodily harm. Second-degree murder carries an automatic life sentence in prison, but the judge will decide how long before Smith is eligible for parole. The defense is suggesting 13 years, while the Crown is asking for 16. Angela Gemmell, CTV News, Sudbury.
The NDP opposition calls SaskPower's financial situation unprecedented.
I have not been able to find anyone anywhere in the province who's seen the Crown lose quite so much money quite so quickly.
Net income declined $163 million during the first quarter of the fiscal year.
There's really only one way for them to raise revenues, and that's to ask families, farms, and industry to foot the bill.
The government suggests it's primarily an accounting issue. Earlier this year, the province paused industrial carbon tax collection. Although no payments are being collected, SaskPower is absorbing the cost until the program is formally repealed. In a written statement, the province said, "Our government will continue to prioritize reliable, affordable power and stable rates for Saskatchewan residents." Unlike the lost and reckless NDP, who had shut down coal, embraced the federal government's clean electricity regulations and triple power bills. If the industrial carbon tax is eventually repealed, SaskPower's financial position will be updated accordingly. In the meantime, the province says a rate increase application currently is not under consideration. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
The vote is now official after members voted 63% in favor, taking the mediator's recommended deal. Now 71% of eligible members participated in the vote. Some key points of that agreement are the 12% salary increase over 4 years, weekend shift premiums, and the recognition of all provincial and federal holidays. The deal also stresses the importance of creating a recruitment, attraction, and retention fund. The union went on to express its gratitude for the patience and perseverance displayed by members over the last 20 months, adding that all retroactive pay will be paid within 90 days. Now, these roughly 22,000 AUPE members include law enforcement, social services, natural resources, administration, among others.
The RCMP held a news conference this afternoon to go through the series of events that unfolded this morning. And this is what we know. At 3:45 this morning, a Hollow Water First Nation safety officer called RCMP reporting an assault. Then another call shortly before 6, another possible stabbing. This time, RCMP sends several units and medical personnel to the scene. Officers arrived to find a number of people with serious knife wounds needing immediate medical care. Police learned that the suspect, 26-year-old Tyrone Simard, fled in a stolen black SUV and was heading south on Provincial Road 304. Then, shortly before 7, the stolen SUV collides with an RCMP cruiser that was traveling north on 304. This is how the crash site looked this afternoon. An RCMP cruiser badly damaged in one ditch and a black SUV in the other. The suspect driving the SUV was pronounced dead at the scene, and the officer in the cruiser was taken to hospital. Back in Hollow Water, 8 community members between the ages of 18 to 60 were injured. 6 patients were transported by ground ambulance, 2 by STARS Air Ambulance. One of the victims, an 18-year-old woman, died from her injuries. It has left the tight-knit community in mourning. Here is the Hollow Water chief speaking emotionally at today's news conference.
I asked the community to pray and support one another out there. And my prayers goes to the people that are in the hospital right now, recovering. Now, and I'll ask the community to continue to pray for them. for the recovery.
The North Shore Mountains covered in a smoky haze, Burnaby skylines barely visible, and many could feel it.
Definitely more tired. Yes, definitely more tired.
I feel a little fatigued this morning, a little tired from the air.
It's heavy and it's very dense.
Some more used to it than others.
The thing is, to be honest, I'm from India, and India's air quality is way worse.
Officials say smoke coming from a surge of wildfires burning north of Hope, the Caribou region, the U.S., and near Whistler has blanketed much of the region.
Metro Vancouver has issued an air quality warning for fine particulate matter for Metro Vancouver and the Fraser Valley due to wildfire smoke.
For most of the day, Vancouver ranked as the most polluted major city in the world, according to IQAir.com.
Some people may have more severe symptoms like difficulty breathing or a tight chest. If you're having severe symptoms from wildfire smoke, please seek medical care.
There are now more than 150 fires burning across the province, with thousands of lightning strikes and scorching weather fueling the flames.
The risk of new wildfire starts and week-over-week growth remains a serious issue for much of the province.
And officials warning the smoke could linger for days.
Weather forecasters are saying that the smoke is going to be a major factor in the next 24 to 72 hours.
Experts say most people's minor symptoms, including sore throat or a mild cough, should go away when the smoke leaves, but young children, seniors, and people with respiratory issues are considered particularly vulnerable and should be extra careful.